එදිනෙදා ඔබේ මුළු සිරුරටම රැකවරණයක්. සුදේශී කොඹ සබන්.
ලෙන්ගතුකම වැඩි කරගන්න ලව්ජු රුපියල් 50 අඩු කළා.
මාමේ එන්න අපිට එකක් බොමු.
Tonight, state of COVID-19. No fresh cases reported during the day as 10 more recover and leave for home. Up in the air. Talks between political parties and the Election Commission end without conclusion. Spared. As the country looks to bring back normalcy, ILO country director sees Sri Lanka's diverse economy as a blessing.
It was quite diverse, the economy of Sri Lanka, which may be a blessing. You didn't have all of your eggs in, say, for example, the manufacturing basket.
Blame game. UN chief takes aim at world leaders for lack of leadership during pandemic. All that and much more coming up on First at 9. This Saturday, the 2nd of May, 2020.
SMS කර රුපියල් මිලියන 3ක මුල්තැන්ගේ උපකරණ දිනාගෙන අවුරුද්දෙම කුස්සිය ටයිම් සේව් කරගන්න.
From AdaDerana, this is AdaDerana First at 9. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening and welcome to First at 9. I'm Dhamke Kanayaka. Now let's start with your local stories. No new COVID-19 positive cases were reported during the day today. There's more good news as 10 people also walked out of hospitals after recovering from the virus. But there is, however, a concern. A person who had returned home after being given the all clear had once more tested positive for the coronavirus. He was discharged from hospital on the 17th of March, but was once more diagnosed to be COVID-19 positive on the 30th. The overall number of COVID-19 cases reported in the country stands at 690, with no cases being reported during the day. There was another silver lining as 10 more people left hospitals after recovering from the virus. It sends the overall tally of recoveries to 172, leaving 511 active cases. In the case of the discovery of 25 new COVID-19 positive cases yesterday, 18 from that number are reported to be naval personnel. Meanwhile, 5 others from yesterday's positive cases are said to be those who had close ties with the infected naval personnel.
ඊයේ දිනේ 25 දෙනෙක් වාර්තා වෙලා තියෙනවා. මේ 25 දෙනාගෙන් 18 දෙනෙක් නාවික හමුදාවේ අය. ඒ වගේම එක් පුද්ගලයෙක් නිරෝධායන මධ්‍යස්ථානයක, ඒ වගේම තවත් 5 දෙනෙක් නාවික හමුදාවේ උදවියගේ සමීපතයින් හැටියට සලකන්න පුළුවන්. 300කට ආසන්න සංඛ්‍යාවක් නාවික හමුදාවේ අය හෝ ඔවුන්ගේ සමීපතයන් රෝගීන් වූ හැටියට අපිට සලකන්න පුළුවන්.
In the meantime, after a seaman attached to the Välisara Navy camp residing in Hettipola, Kegel, tested positive for the virus yesterday, his house was disinfected while 11 of his family members were transferred to the Gaul Police Training College for quarantine. In another development, the first COVID-19 virus infection from the Nuwara district was reported yesterday. A seaman had returned home to the area of Diggalpotta in Hanguranketha on the 21st of April. As a result, about 30 of his associates in the area have been quarantined. Meanwhile, a returnee from Italy who had gone home after recovering from the virus has once more tested positive for COVID-19. The 67-year-old had returned to his home in Kapalakanda in Jayala on the 17th of April from the infectious disease hospital and had undergone self-isolation for a period of 14 days. However, he was admitted to the Colombo National Hospital due to a heart attack on the 30th of April, and it has been confirmed that he has contracted the virus again. Public health inspectors took steps to ensure that the occupants of the person's home were subjected to self-isolation for 21 days. Meanwhile, police, intelligence officers and public health inspectors who worked closely with the infected persons in Suduel of Jayala were subjected to PCR testing today. Accordingly, the associates of 4 patients from Jayala identified from quarantine centres were also subjected to PCR testing today. In the meantime, 50 persons from Horana, Bandaragama, Maduravala, Bulatsinhala and Ingiriya who were in direct contact with a kitchen employee at a factory in Horana investment promotion zone who tested positive for the virus were subjected to PCR testing. Elsewhere, 40 persons who are suspected of having come into contact with the seamen from the area of Hammalaw in Kuliyapitiya who tested COVID-19 positive were PCR tested today. In the meantime, Navy took steps to bring back 5 fishermen who had suddenly fallen sick whilst on board a multi-day trawler 10 days ago. The fishermen had later been sent to the General Hospital in Nagoda, Kalutara, to undergo PCR testing. In the meantime, health authorities today conducted a series of PCR tests on 50 randomly selected persons in the area of KB Christiperera Mawatha. In Keselwatta, blood samples were obtained from individuals in the area of Bandaranayaka Mawatha to ascertain their immunity levels.
මේ අනුව අපට බලා ගන්නට පුළුවන් මෙහි ප්‍රජාව තුළ මේ රෝගය පැතිර යාම සිදු වෙලා තියෙනවද කියලා. මේ දක්වා තිබෙන සාධක අනුව බණ්ඩාරනායක මාවත ඒ වගේම දාබරේ මාවත කියන ප්‍රදේශවලට ප්‍රධාන වශයෙන්ම මෙම රෝගය එයින් ඔබට උතුරා යෑම නතර කර ගැනීමට හැකියාව ලැබිලා තියෙන බව තමයි PCR පරීක්ෂණ වලින් අපිට තහවුරු වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. දිනපතා මේ සාම්පල ලබා ගැනීම තවදුරටත් සිදු කරනු ලබනවා.
Director General of Health Services Dr. Anil Jasinghe made the following statement regarding PCR tests conducted yesterday.
ඊයේ දිනේදී PCR test 1107ක් කරලා තියෙනවා. මේක අත වශයෙන්ම නාවික හමුදාවේ ඒ වගේම කොළඹ ප්‍රදේශයේ විවිධ ප්‍රදේශවල සහ රටේ විවිධ ප්‍රදේශවල සහ රෝහල්වල කරනු ලැබූ සංඛ්‍යාව ඇතුළත් වෙනවා.
කොරෝනා වෛරසය පැතිරීම වළක්වන්න සබන් යොදා දෑත් සෝදන්න.
Now, in the meantime, the State Intelligence Service is confident that it has brought the spread of COVID-19 under their complete control. Speaking during a program of Sri Lanka Rupawahini Corporation, Deputy Director of SIS, Parakrama De Silva said that the agency now has a full comprehension of what needs to be done even if a new cluster of coronavirus was to pop up. Touching on the advanced nature of the role intelligence units played in the fight against COVID-19, he added that only one other intelligence agency in the world has made a similar intervention in the global pandemic.
මට ස්ථිර වශයෙන්ම කියන්න පුළුවන් අපේ සේවා විසින් මේක සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම අපේ ග්‍රහණයට නතු කරගෙන තියෙනවා.
ඔබතුමන්ලගේ ඔය ග්‍රහණයට අහුනේ නැද්ද මේ නාවික හමුදාව මේ වගේ අවදානමක් ඉන්නවයි කියලා? මොකක්ද අතර මෙතනදී උනේ?
ඇත්තටම සුදුවැල්ලේ ගියපු සොල්දාදුවන් පිරිසක් ගිහිල්ලා ඒ වැලිසර නාවික කඳවුරේ වෙන අංශයක් තියෙනවා ඉලෙක්ට්‍රොනික කටයුතු කරන අංශයක්. ඒ අංශ කෙනෙක් එක්ක සම්බන්ධ වීමක් තුලදී තමයි මේ රෝගය ආසාදනයට ලක් වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. දැන් අපි ඒ නාවික හමුදාවේ සිද්ධියත් සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම අපේ පාලනයට නතු කරගෙන ඉවරයි. ඒකෙදි අපි අනතුරුදායක ප්‍රමාණය හැටියට හඳුනාගත්තා 254ක්. මේකෙදී මම සඳහන් කරන්න ඕනේ නායකත්වයෙන් අපිට ලැබිලා තිබ්බේ පැය ගණනක් තමයි මේ කට්ටියව අපේ පාලනයට ගන්න ඕනේ කියලා. ඒකට රාජ්‍ය බුද්ධ සේවාව සෑහෙන කාර්යභාරයක් කරන්න සිද්ධ වෙලා තිබ්බා.
දාමයක් තියෙන්න ඕනේ මේ රෝගය පැතිරීමේ. දැන් ඉන් පරිබාහිර රෝගීන් හඳුනා ගැනීමක් සිද්ධ වෙලා නැද්ද මෙතෙක්?
දැන් අපි බේරුවල මැණික් ව්‍යාපාරිකයන්ගේ පොකුර කියලා ගත්තාම ඒ පොකුරේ විවිධ ප්‍රතිවලින් බේරුවලිනුයි දෙහිවල ප්‍රදේශේනුයි මතු වුණාට මේ ගෲප්ස් දෙක අතර සම්බන්ධතාවයක් තියෙනවා. ඒ සම්බන්ධ වෙලා තියෙන්නේ අර මැණික් ව්‍යාපාරය මේ මැණික් ව්‍යාපාරයගේ මිත්‍රත්වයක් නොතිබුණාට ඒක අතර ඉන්න මේ තරව්කරුවන්ගේ මාත් අපි දැක්කා ඉන්ටර්කනෙක්ටඩ් ගද. ඒතකොට සංචාරක මග පෙන්වන්නන්ගේ පොකුර දිහා බැලුවාමත් අපි දැක්කා මේකේ ගියපු ස්ථානයක බැලුවාම ඉන්ටර්කනෙක්ටඩ්. නමුත් සමහර සිද්ධීන් තිබ්බා අපිට අර වාර්තා වුණා පන්නිපිටියේ සිද්ධියක්. එතකොට තව හමුදාවේ නිලධාරියෙක් සම්බන්ධ වාර්තා වුණා. ඒකෙදි අපි බැලුවාම මේ කොහෙන්වත් මේ තිබ්බේ නැහැ සම්බන්ධතාවයක්. ඉතින් ඒක අපිට ලොකු ගැටලුවක් වෙලා තිබ්බා. නමුත් අපි අපේ කාර්යභාරය කරා. ඒ කවුද සොයා නිරෝධායනට ලක් කරන්න ඕනේ, කවුරු ගැනද වාර්තා කරන්න ඕනේ, ඒ සම්බන්ධ ක්‍රියාවලිය කරා. නමුත් පස්සේ දැනගන්න ලැබුණා ඒක මක්හරි පරීක්ෂා කරන යන්ත්‍රයේ පෙන්눔 කිරීමේ සම්බන්ධයි. ඉතින් ඒ නිසා අපිට සමහරවිට අපිට ඒ පරීක්ෂා කරන මැෂින් එකත් අභියෝගයක්. නමුත් අපි ඒක කවදාක්වත් අපි ඒක අභියෝගයක් කියලා බාරගන්නේ. අපි අපෙන් වෙන්න ඕනේ ක්‍රියාදාමයේ අපි සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම සිදු කරා.
මේ මොහොතේ රට හමුවේ තියෙන අවදානම මුළුමනින්ම පාලනය වෙලා. දැන් අපි දන්නවා ගන්න ඕන පියවරයන් මොකක්ද කියලා. එතකොට අපිට කොහෙන් හරි තැනකින් තව පොකුරක් වර්ධනය වුණා කියන එක අපි දන්නවා. ඒක 0 ලෙවල් එක දක්වා පාලනය කරන ක්‍රමවේදය
අපි දන්නවා. සමහර අවස්ථාවලදී අපි කියන්න සතුටුයි අපි යන්න ඉස්සෙල්ලා සමහර ප්‍රදේශයේ ඉන්න PHI සෞඛ්‍ය වෛද්‍ය නිලධාරීතුමන්ලා ගිහිල්ලා තිබ්බ ඒ සමහර තැන්වලට අපි යන්න අපි තොරතුරු හොයනකොට ගිහිල්ලා කරලා. ඒ වගේ අවස්ථාත් අපිට තිබ්බ.
වෙනත් රටවල් වල බුද්ධ්‍යංශ මේ වගේ මැදිහත් වීම කරනවද?
මේ හා සමාන ක්‍රමයක් ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙන්නේ ලෝකයේ දියුණුම බුද්ධි සේවාවක් පැවතෙන ඊශ්‍රායලයේ මේ මොසයිඩ් කියන ඒගොල්ලන් කරනවා මේක. හැබැයි ඒ ක්‍රමයවත් නෙමෙයි. මේක අපේ රටටම ආවේනික වූ වෙච්ච ක්‍රමයක්.
නිෂ්පාදිත දිනය කවදත් අලුත් වටවල තේ අරගන්න.
වටවල තේ ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ තේ එක.
Now the entire country is presently under lockdown. With the exception of Colombo, Gampaha, Kalutara and Puttlam, the rest of the country will see curfew regulations being relaxed on Monday the 4th. As for the people in the 4 districts in the red, they will have to wait until the 11th of May for a window of free movement. Even then, not all are allowed to venture outdoors. According to the latest communique of the President's Media Division, the curfew in the districts of Colombo, Gampaha, Kalutara and Puttlam will be extended until Monday the 11th of May. Previously, it was stated that the curfew in the 4 districts, which are COVID-19 high-risk zones, would see a relaxation of regulations on Monday the 4th. According to the latest PMD communique, the resumption of civilian life and state and private sector activities will begin from Monday the 11th of May, while the curfew is in force in the districts of Colombo, Gampaha, Kalutara and Puttlam. The move is intended to ensure return to normalcy in civilian life and to revive the economy, including continuous provision of essential services in these districts. Meanwhile, heads of institutes are advised to make necessary arrangements, taking into consideration of the required number of employees to run their organizations. Institutional chiefs are to ensure strict adherence to the guidelines issued by the Director General of Health Services and other health authorities to control the spread of COVID-19 while conducting their operations. Head of each state organization, including departments, corporations and boards, are to decide the cadre to be called for work. In the meantime, the private sector entities are requested to open for work at 10 a.m. daily. As a measure to prevent the spread of the virus, public are asked to refrain from unnecessarily coming to roads and gathering at various places. The communique also says that SLTB buses and railway carriages will only transport employees who are reporting for work. Civilians, except those who are essentially required to report to work, are requested to remain in their homes. People are allowed to leave their homes only to purchase essential items such as food and medicines, while COVID-19 prevention health recommendations should strictly be followed at each instance. Curfew passes issued by police authorities, meanwhile, are valid only if the driver and passengers wear masks. In the meantime, the curfew in other 21 districts will only be effective from 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. the next morning on a daily basis until Wednesday the 6th of May. The curfew, which will be imposed at 8 p.m. on the 6th, will continue until 5 a.m. on the 11th of May. With the spread of coronavirus and its combat efforts affecting the lives of many people across the country, the process of liberating those who are stranded away from home owing to the curfew commenced from the Western Province today. 300 people stranded within 8 police areas of the Kalaniya Police Division were convened at the Vijay Kumar Tunga grounds in Paliyagoda to be sent home.
දින 14ක් හෝ 28ක් හෝ අවශ්‍යතාවය අනුව ඔබව අධීක්ෂණය කරනවා ඔබ ඔබගේ පවුලේ සමාජිකයන් සමග පමණ සිටිය යුතුයි. ඔබ එසේ ක්‍රියා නොකළොත් ඉදිරියේදී යාමට ඉන්න අනික් අයට ඒ යාමටත් විශාල බාධාවක් වෙනවා වෙන්නේ. පැහැදිලිවම මේ වෛරසයේ ව්‍යාප්තිය සඳහා කිසිම රුකුලක් මේ ගමනෙන් වෙන්න බෑ. ඒක පැහැදිලිව ඔබ පිළිය තියාගන්න.
The people selected to be sent home were first disinfected and their body temperature checked. They were then sent to their respective districts aboard 20 buses of the Sri Lanka Transport Board. Following the reimposition of the curfew in 21 districts at 8 p.m. last Thursday, the curfew is in effect island-wide until Monday the 4th of May. Police and the Tri-Forces, as usual, engaged in their duty to crack down on people who violate the curfew, misuse curfew passes, and those who ignore safety protocols. Since the 20th of March, when the curfew first came into effect, 40,321 persons have been arrested for curfew violations, while 11,460 vehicles have been seized. In the meantime, in Badulla, public health inspectors of the municipal council took steps to close down shops in the Badulla town, which were opened during the curfew. Furthermore, the PHI has warned that flouting curfew regulations can result in complete closure of the shops. Elsewhere in Kudavella, it was also observed how vendors and consumers at the fisheries harbour did not follow required safety protocols. Almost all vendors and consumers were seen wearing face masks. However, wearing of gloves and social distancing was amiss. We will see you again shortly after this break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're watching First at 9. Now, International Labour Organization's Country Director for Sri Lanka, Simran Singh, calls it a blessing that the country has a diverse economy and that it did not have all the eggs in one basket. Her views came during a discussion on our current affairs program at Hyde Park with Indiva Riyamatha on AdaDerana 24. She also touched on people's concerns when life slowly returns to normal and also called for out-of-the-box thinking when moving forward.
Let's start off talking about the readiness, preparedness to work in the new normal.
Well, it's going to be a challenge, certainly. The situation is changing so rapidly. We realize that the first monitor was such an underestimate, and the latest information we have is something like just in this quarter, a 10% reduction in working time, which is equivalent to 305 million jobs, full-time jobs lost. This is an issue that is touching every country, every society at this point, not just Sri Lanka, not just the big economies, but every single one. So the solutions really have to be a collective one of solidarity, where the interests of the globe and the society as a whole is tackled. I think it would be very unfair that only individual countries are left to figure solutions out for themselves. Yes, the solutions need to be absolutely contextualized to each country, but it has to be done in the nature of global solidarity. By this I mean, seriously, the financial side of things. How are we going to afford this? So many people that are unemployed, or businesses that are down or have been shut down and need to start up, and they're desperate to seek loans and finances or whatever. Where's that money going to come from? There's going to need a real discussion in global solidarity to be able to finance the recovery and to look alternatively as well, whether certain things can be redirected and reprioritized from within existing monetary policy. Now, I do think this provides a real opportunity for countries, including Sri Lanka, to be thinking of how they want to reshape the economy. Where do they want to put all their energy and focus? You know, it was quite diverse, the economy of Sri Lanka, which may be a blessing. You could actually build off of the diversity. You didn't have all of your eggs in, say, for example, the manufacturing basket. Some countries, unfortunately, have, for example, the garment sector. You know, their entire economies depend, the Cambodias and Bangladeshis, they depend on garments. Here, it wasn't such a heavy thing. There was already quite a spread in terms of agriculture, some in manufacturing, some in services. But I think the idea was, let's do something about tourism. Let's get the tourism sector going pre-COVID times. Now it's unfortunately a bit of a wake-up call, because the tourism sector, especially international tourism, is probably going to be one of the slowest to recover and come back to the way it used to be. So we need to be thinking of the new normal. Maybe the model is not anymore the hotels and packing everyone into these places and packed restaurants and packed bars and beach parties and things of that nature. And maybe it's not backpacker type of tourism, but maybe it's something much more organic. It's going to really take a lot of out-of-box thinking.
There's a lot of fear going back to work. What would our workplace be like as we return to work? What would the streets be like? What would it be like to engage with one another?
Well, certainly the health and safety, physical distancing, hygiene measures should be put in place. I mean, that's the bare minimum. And of course, also coordination with the health authorities. So you shouldn't have a clandestine operation and people don't know, I mean, the authorities don't know that you are bringing people back. I think a staggered approach where people can telework, let them telework. But one aspect that I think we need, and there is a focus already, but we need to focus even more on, is this psychosocial aspect. It is a fear. I must say that when I first walked out during lockdown and you see these images and the roads are absolutely empty in Colombo, and this was a thriving, bustling city just the day before, it's quite daunting. So the psychosocial thing, this fear that the human beings you're dealing with might be the people that are actually, infecting you. This is something very real, and so it's very important to recognize it, to offer the right psychosocial care, and there are hotlines and there are professionals that can offer that, to educate on those things so that you recognize what you're feeling and why you're feeling it.
Now, in other stories, the Samagi Janabalavega and the JVP are set to boycott the meeting called by Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa tomorrow. But the United National Party says that it will attend the discussion. Meanwhile, the meeting held this morning between the Election Commission and representatives of political parties ended without a conclusion. A discussion was worked off this morning between officials of the Election Commission and representatives from political parties which have submitted nominations for the upcoming general election at the Election Commission premises. Party representatives addressed the media after a near 3-hour discussion.
පක්ෂ ගණනාවකගේ මතය තිබුණේ මැතිවරණය මේ අවස්ථාවේ පැවැත්විය යුතු නැහැ කියන එක. ඒ වගේම පක්ෂ ගණනාවක් සඳහන් කරා ජනතාවගේ ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදී අයිතියක් මැතිවරණය පැවැත්විය යුතුයි කියන එක. නමුත් මැතිවරණ කොමිසම සඳහන් කළේ මේ අවස්ථාවේදී ඒ පිළිබඳ මතයක් දරන්න බෑ. තව සවත්ති දෙකකින් රටේ පැවැත්වෙන තත්ත්වය තීන්දුව කරලා මැතිවරණය පවත්වන දිනයත් කියලා තීන්දුව කරන්න පුළුවන් කියලා. ඒ අනුව අවසන් තීන්දුවකින් තොරව තමයි සාකච්ඡාව අවසන් වුණේ. මැතිවරණය සම්බන්ධයෙන් දිනයක් නියම කරන්න තීන්දුවක් කරේ නැහැ.
අගමැතිතුමා සාකච්ඡාවකට එන්න කියලා කියද්දී සමගි ජන බලවේගය නම් මේද සාකච්ඡාවලට
ඒකට එන්නේ නැත්නම් අපි මේ පිළිබඳ අපිට කරන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. නමුත් එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂය එකඟ වෙලා තිනවා සහභාගී වෙන්න.
අංක ලබා දීමකුත් එතකොට සිදු වෙන්නේ නැහැ.
අංක ලබා දීම සිදු වෙන්නේ නැහැ. මැතිවරණ දිනය හරියටම තීරණය කරමු.
දැන් ඔබතුමාලා ආගමැතිතුමා කඳලා තියෙන රැස්වීමට සහභාගී වෙන්නේ නැද්ද?
තීන්දුව කරා ඒ රැස්වීමට සම්බන්ධ වෙන්නේ නැහැ කියලා ආගමැතිතුමාගේ ප්‍රධානත්වයෙන් මෙඩිස්ලා සාකච්ඡා දෙකක් තිබ්බා. ඒ සාකච්ඡාවලදී විපක්ෂය ඉදිරිපත් කරන කරුණු සැලකිල්ලට ගත්තේ නැහැ. ඒ වගේම අපි ජනාධිපතිවරයාට මේ සම්බන්ධව ලිපියක් ඇරියා. ව්‍යවස්ථාව අනුව පාර්ලිමේන්තුව කැඳවන්න කියලා ජනාධිපතිතුමා බොහොම නරක විදිහට උත්තරයක් කියලා තිබ්බා. අපි තීරණය කරා මේකට අනේකේ තේරුම මොකක්ද?
ඔබතුමාලගේ නායකතුමා එහෙම යනවා කියලා තියෙනවා රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ මහතාට.
දන්නේ රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ මහත්මයා වෙනවද දන්නේ අපි සමගි ජන බලවේගයේ සියලු පක්ෂ තීරණය කරා මේකට යන්නේ නැහැ කියලා.
එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂයේ විදිහට අපි ප්‍රකාශ කරා මැතිවරණයක් තියන්නේ නම් මහේස්ත්‍රාත් අධිකරණයේ සිට ශ්‍රේෂ්ඨ අධිකරණයේ දක්වා සාමාන්‍ය අධිකරණ ක්‍රියාවලිය සාමාන්‍ය තත්ත්වයට පත් වුණාම තමයි මේ මැතිවරණයකට යන්න ඕනේ.
ජූනි 20ත් නොකිය කිව්වේ තියන්න බෑ කියලා.
ආරාධනාවක් ලැබිලා තියෙනවා අපි තීරණය කළා තියෙනවා යන්න ඕනේ කියලා. මොකද අපි ඊයේ නැත්තම් අපිට චෝදනාවක් එයි අපි ඒක මගහැරියා කියලා ආණ්ඩුවට අපේ අදහස් පක්ෂයක් විදිහට කියන්න තියෙන තැනක් මේ ස්ථානේ. එහෙම නැතුව මේ ඊල්ලිවරලා ආණ්ඩුව හුරුතල් කරන්න අපි යන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ නැහැ.
අතුරේක ප්‍රශ්නයක් පැන නැගිලා තිබෙනවා 16 17 18 කියන තේ දින නාම යෝජනා බාර ගැනීම. විශේෂයෙන්ම ඒ දින තුන රාජ්‍ය පරිපාලන අමාත්‍යවරයා විසින් නිවාඩු දින බවට පත් කරලා තිබෙනවා. ඒ නිසා එම දින තුන ඇතුළත ගත්තු නාම යෝජනා බාල නීත්‍යානුකූල භාවය පිළිබඳ ප්‍රශ්නයක් ගන්න ගියටින් බව සභාපතිතුමා විසින් ප්‍රකාශ කළා.
දැන් ඔබතුමාලා සෙල්ලම් පාර්ලිමේන්තුවක් කියලා හැඳින්වුව ඒකට යනවද?
ඔබ හිතන්නේ 225ක් ගෙනල්ලා විනාඩි 3 ගානේ වැය කරා. පැය 11ක් යනවා. මේ මාධ්‍ය සංදර්ශනයක් විතරක් ඒක තමයි අපේ අදහස.
Meanwhile, former Speaker of Parliament Karu Jayasuriya says that the opposition's proposal to reconvene the Parliament to prevent a constitutional crisis in the country is a timely step taken democratically. In a statement, the former Speaker says he is ready to extend his support without hesitation and that he would not take part in a unilateral summoning of Parliament and aggravate the constitutional crisis in the country. In another development, a fundamental rights petition was filed in the Supreme Court today seeking to nullify the Election Commission's Gazette notification, which set the 20th of June as the date for election. The petition filed by Attorney-at-Law Charita Gunaratna states that it is essential to hold a general election within a period not exceeding 3 months from the date of dissolution of Parliament by the President. The petition says that the Election Commission is legally bound to hold a general election before the 13th of May and the election held beyond the period is unconstitutional. The petitioner has sought an interim injunction preventing the general election from being held until a verdict is given on the petition. We will see you shortly. Bear with us. Welcome back. You're watching First at 9. Now, oil slipped to around $26 a barrel yesterday as weak demand due to the coronavirus crisis and excess supply pressured the market, even as OPEC and its allies began a record output cut. The global oil benchmark Brent crude has collapsed 60% in 2020 and reached a 21-year low last month as the coronavirus pandemic squeezed demand and OPEC and other producers pumped at will before reaching a new supply cut deal, which began yesterday. Brent deliveries for July fell 1.7% to $26.02. U.S. crude deliveries for June slipped 2 cents to $18.82, with both benchmarks rallying sharply last Thursday. Brent rose 12% and U.S. crude gained 25%. Yesterday's output cut by the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries of Russia and other producers means a slash of 9.7 million barrels per day. Secretary-General of the United Nations Antonio Guterres took aim at world leaders, making them responsible for the devastating spread of COVID-19 in the world. He accused them of lacking leadership and was critical over the international community being divided at a time when unity is the need of the hour. In the meantime, various measures were taken by countries across the globe to curb the spread of the virus, with the United States giving the green light for the emergency use of Ebola drug remdesivir to treat COVID-19 patients. With efforts being carried out world over to contain the coronavirus, a declining trend can be seen in the number of cases reported across many countries. With the number of global recoveries surpassing 1 million yesterday, the global recovery rate was recorded at 32% today, as the overall tally stood at 1,093,441. Total global infections, however, is at a daunting 3,402,439. As the United States continues to record fatalities over the 1,000 mark, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration granted authorization for the emergency use of the antiviral drug remdesivir used in the treatment of Ebola, with the company Gilead Sciences donating 1.5 million vials of the drug to help patients. It is expected to be enough for at least 140,000 patients, depending on the number of days they need to be treated. The country currently has over 1.1 million COVID-19 positive cases and more than 65,000 deaths. Meanwhile, in the United Kingdom, more than 6,500 people have registered their interest to take part in a trial to see if blood plasma from coronavirus survivors can treat hospital patients with COVID-19. As 148 people in England made donations, the hope from the trial is that the antibodies recovered patients have built up will help clear the virus in others. The UK reported 739 deaths and over 6,201 infections within the last day. The UK reported 739 deaths and over 6,000 infections within the last day. Meanwhile, France, Italy and Spain continue to maintain the number of daily fatalities under 300. It is a positive trend for those countries as they once recorded the highest number of daily deaths from Europe. Singapore, meanwhile, announced today that it will ease some restrictions in the country, allowing some businesses to operate starting from the 12th of May. The country's health minister said that as the number of cases in the broader community drop, more restrictions will be lifted in the weeks to come. The government also said that it will allow some students to return to school beginning from the 19th of May. The world's second largest population, India, meanwhile, announced that the country's lockdown would be extended for 2 weeks beyond the 4th of May, but with some easing of restrictions. The Home Ministry said that in view of significant gains in the COVID-19 situation, areas with few or no cases would see considerable relaxations. The stringent restrictions have been credited with keeping confirmed cases of coronavirus to about 37,000, with 1,223 deaths. Meanwhile, speaking to foreign media, UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres said that world leaders should bear some of the blame for the devastating impact of the coronavirus pandemic.
The contribution of China and the United States, both to fight COVID-19, but to all other aspects in the development of international relations is, in my opinion, absolutely essential. And I hope that it will become possible in the future. it is obvious that there is a lack of leadership. It is obvious the international community is divided in a moment where it would be more important than ever to be united. There is indeed a problem of leadership, or if you want, a disconnect between leadership and power. We see remarkable examples of leadership, but they are usually not associated with power. And where we see power, we sometimes do not see the necessary leadership. I hope this will be overcome sooner rather than later.
Now, after weeks of intense speculation about the health of Kim Jong-un, North Korea's state-run television KRT today aired a video of Kim attending a completion of the fertilizer plant north of Pyongyang. It is the first report of his appearance since the 11th of April. In the footage, Kim attended the ribbon-cutting ceremony with high-ranking officials, including his sister, Kim Yo-jong, and toured the newly built factory. The video also showed Kim's leg movements appearing stiff and jerky. Many of the large crowd of people described as officials of the military, the ruling party and the community which worked on the project were wearing face masks and standing some distance from the podium where Kim and his aides took part in the ceremony. There has been speculation about Kim's health after he missed the birth anniversary celebrations of state founder Kim Il-sung on the 15th of April. The day is a major holiday in North Korea, and Kim as leader usually pays a visit to the mausoleum where his grandfather lies in state. Following his absence from the anniversary, a South Korean news outlet specializing on the North reported that Kim was recovering after undergoing a cardiovascular procedure, which was followed by a flurry of other unconfirmed reports. And that's it from all of us here at First at 9. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.